Howdy y'all and welcome back. Today we'll be looking at something a little different, the Greater Houston Train Show. But before we begin, I've noticed that most of my viewers aren't subscribed, so if you're watching and you want to see more, subscribing, hitting the bell icon to receive notifications, liking the video, and maybe even sharing with your friends would help me a lot to continue making cool content for y'all. That said, let's take a look at the train show. The Greater Houston Train Show is an annual gathering of model railroaders from all over the extended Greater Houston area. The show is put on by the San Jacinto Model Railroad Club and has been an annual event for over 50 years.
That's why so many of us have to scratch build to the pit pass stuff.
This is their main modular layout here, and as you can see, they put a lot of detail into their rolling stock. They've done an amazing job with weathering and detailing their models, and they even put some graffiti on some of them to make it really look real. They've modeled some cool scenes on their layout, like this truck stop and machinery yard. They also have this monster truck here and a Buc-ee's sign, a true Texas treasure. Of course, there were more than just layouts at the show. Here we see the Scale Trains booth. They were showing off some of their latest runs, and I definitely saw some things to put on my wish list. They also showed off this reefer shipping container they've put a sound unit in. Every once in a while it'll kick on, making sounds of the cooling unit that keeps the container cold. Scale Trains was the only manufacturer there, but this is neat. This is a group trying to restore an old Southern Pacific locomotive, number 982. This engine had been put on display in downtown Houston since it was retired, and the new owners just announced last year that they wanted to get it running again, which is very exciting. If you want to check it out yourself, there'll be a link in the description. One of the other club layouts that was here was the Southeast Texas Model Railroad Club. Their layout was small and simple, but still very neat. They of course had Thomas running for the kids, and a shell rig of some kind that has definitely given me some good modeling ideas. Now here we have a little switching layout that you could run and learn about model railroad operations. You can see how they use magnetic plates on the track to uncouple the cars. Next we have the Houston TTrack in-scale layout. TTrack is a system with guidelines for building modular model railroads similar to Fremo. This way anyone can build a module and it'll perfectly work with anyone else's to create a unique way to model railroad in a small space. You can simply build a module or two and take them around to meets like this and run trains. Well, now things are going from small to smaller. This is a Z-scale layout. It's even smaller than N-scale, but I was blown away by the detail in this house construction site. Every board was hand-placed, and it's that small. Now, here's a contrast. This is the Houston area G-gauger setup at the show. These guys meet up at various garden railways around Houston, and they like big trains. Speaking of big trains, they even had a big boy. And of course, we have the old Lionel O-scale stuff. This classic 3-rail stuff is always so neat to see. It's not really my style, but there's so much to look at. There's always something moving around in the scenery. Here we see this S-scale layout. Most people who model in S-scale hand lay their track and scratch build a lot of their models. This usually means S-scale really shines when it comes to detail, and this layout didn't disappoint. I've always thought S-scale was really cool, if a little hard to get into as there's not a lot of products available. And last but not least, the vendors. There was plenty of standard Athearn blue box kits, both high quality and budget models for sale, but there was also some really cool booths like this one. Richmond Controls Lighting Systems installs all kinds of lights into absolutely tiny models. I just don't know how they do it.
We do not.
Then there's this guy who custom paints, weathers, and details models for you. He does an amazing job and even does custom railroads and fantasy paint schemes. There were also some vendors selling model planes and others selling military vehicles like you'd see getting transported by rail. I was really interested to see how many people were selling in scale. It's really become more popular, especially as it gets to levels of detail hard to imagine at that size. Of course, with all the vendors, it's really hard to leave a train show empty-handed, so I didn't. I may have picked up a little something while I was there, definitely the subject of a later video, but until then, that's all for this one. I hope you guys enjoyed, and stay tuned for next week where we'll take a look at Union Pacific's water tenders they use for steam excursions. See you next time!